People tell me to be in the moment. What the hell does that mean? By the time you say the W sound in the word now, the N sound is already over. Be in the moment. What the hell? What the hell does that mean? Hi there, Neil here, the Twisted Lightworker. Living in the moment. We've all heard so much about that. And thank God for my metaphysical background. I have a different perspective of it. I followed the New Age perspective for a number of times and realized it was getting in the way of the truth. It was totally getting in the way of the truth. Meditation is really good. It helps one center oneself and ground oneself. But the danger is people become passive. And the only way they can feel happy is if they're passive. And that is not what being in the moment is all about whatsoever. I've had like 45 years of metaphysical background and Toltec in the background in my training, as well as was born into a family where both my mother's side and my father's side were both Christians and went to Bible school every summer. And so I've had a all-inclusive training and look at all aspects of it. And being in the moment has a whole different connotation than what most people comprehend. See, we are creatures of time, not only of the past, but of the now. Most prominently, we are creatures of the future and the eternal new. Few seers have talked about the eternal new. That is, of time forging forth into the future and the transcendent eternal new that the future beckons to. See, that is getting very, very close to capitalizing on all the years of my study on this particular point in topic. It's fascinating to see so many people believe that they have to be in meditation to quiet the mind in order to be present with their self. But that really is the real purpose of being in the now. Like I said at the beginning, in my little humor part, by the time you get to the W sound of now, the N sound is already over, so it's impossible to be in the present. That's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. But no matter what you're doing, we can learn to be present with our whole self. That means our inner being, our higher self, and our connection to the divinity within, which means our direct communication with Source, our direct communication with God. We don't need to have anybody in between. We have that connection right within us. Jesus said that I am in the Father and the Father's in me and I am in you. Metaphysically, we have the field of the universe. It's one big massive field of endless vibrations. Tesla said it. When you think of the universe, think of energy, frequency, and vibrations. And people get that wrong. They think that's three different things. No, those are attributes of the one thing, the ether. The ether is consciousness, and it's all one big field of unlimited potential. And that goes right out to the ends of the universe and right to the middle of every single cell of your body. Every single cell of your body has that direct communication with Source. I am in the Father, the Father's in me, and I am in you. That's right to the center of each and every one of your cells. Your body truly is the temple of God. And to learn how to be in touch with the presence of creative Source at all times, no matter what you're doing, that is being in the moment. That's being present with yourself. Present with yourself. See, being solitary is being alone while luxuriously immersed in doings of your own choice, aware of the fullness of your own presence rather than aware of the absence of others. Solitude, then, is an achievement. Solitude is an achievement. See, there's a strength and confidence that comes from knowing who you are. There's a strength and confidence that is ascertained by the effective discipline that is practiced. Eventually, the strength and confidence will exceed just knowing who you are and what effective discipline you practice. See, I'll say that again. Eventually, the strength and confidence will exceed just knowing who you are and what effective discipline you practice. Then you will have entered the realm of the warrior spirit. So, what does that mean? The Bible teaches us to ask God into our heart, and that's a conscious decision that we open that door. And the door is always there, whether you're a biblical scholar or whether you're just a spiritual adept seeking the truth. The door is always there because Source is inside of each and every man and woman from the North Pole to the South Pole. The question is, have we consciously made the effort to tune into that? It's kind of like a radio frequency. The signals are all there. The room where you're sitting right now is filled with radio stations from all over the place that if you had a radio on, you could turn to the channels of each one of those and tune into that radio station. So in one sense, our mind, our brain actually is a sender and receiver of radio signals. And we can tune into different frequencies. And different frequencies, therefore, will give us a different realization of our world. And so when we're immensely in tune with that spark of the divine that's inside each and every one of us, that's who we are. We all have that spark of the divine, and that's all part of who we are. See, we have the heart. That's open to the love and the emotions and the vibrations. And then we have the brain, which is the sender and receiver of frequencies. But we also have our higher self. We also have that higher self that reaches to the capacity of tuning into the warrior spirit, which has that direct communication with God, Source. And that is inside each and every single one of our cells. So being in the moment is being aware of all that you are, who you are. So let's go back and see if that makes any more sense now if we reread that. There is a strength and confidence just from knowing who you are. There's a strength and confidence that is ascertained by the effective discipline that is practiced. On that note, that's important. It takes practice to shut the ego mind off. Most of the time when we're busy, we're focused on doing things, we're doing it in our head. We may have a heartfelt compassion for what we're doing, and we want to see the job done, so we have our heart connected to it. But while we're doing it, while we're creating that project or doing that activity or that job, are we aware of the presence of who we are on the inside? Are we aware of the warrior spirit? Are we aware of our higher self? Are we aware of that connection to the divinity that we always have available? That is being in the moment. Being aware of all of those things, no matter what you do, no matter what you're doing. So it takes practice to shut that radio signal transmitter off so that we can actually be aware of that presence of all that. We've been programmed to be in our head. And then we have fluffy stuff like the New Age movement. There's all these nice quotes and stuff. And I was caught up in that trap for a long time, and thank God I had the metaphysical background, because I realized that there was a whole lot more to it than that. There's a discipline involved. There's a discipline of shutting that chatter off and being aware of the presence of all that you are, which means you're aware of the divinity of who you are. You are a divine being, as we all are, from the North Pole to the South Pole. In India, when they meet, they sometimes say Namaste. And Namaste, and what that means in short terms is I honor the God in you. But that's a really shallow view of what Namaste really means. Namaste really means I honor you for that place in you where the universe resides. I honor you for that place in you of love, of light, of truth, and of peace. I honor you for that place in you, for when you are in that place in you, and I am in that place in me, there's only one of us. Now that is what it means by we are all one. We're connected through that invisible field, the ether, that extends to the ends of the universe as well as to the center of every cell of your body, inside and outside. As within, so without. All of those things have meaning, and they're deep, and they're profound, and it takes discipline and practice to be aware of that presence of the divine that's inside you and who you really are. So, knowing who you are gives you that strength and confidence. It's really profound. But when you know who you are, to the warrior, conflict is always imagined, but its opposition is real. So we don't get burdened by all of the difficulties in our life. We realize it's just opposition. It's just an opposition. And once the opposition is dealt with easier than the conflict. The conflict is within our own thinking. So I'll read that again. To the warrior, conflict is always imagined, but it's the opposition that's real. Opposition is dealt with easier than conflict. Conflicts seek to embroil you in their issue by a mental or emotional identification. If you have no identification with the conflict doesn't exist. Only the opposition exists. And the opposition is easily manipulated by energetic means. By becoming the knowing effect, you see the cause. So, being in tune with all that you are makes you realize that you are a creator. We all are creators. Just like it says back there. It says, you're living the dream, or are we dreaming the life? Both are correct, you see. The first thing is we actually create our reality with our thoughts. So we are creating the life. And so if we have a particular life we want to live, we dream that into existence with our thinking and our actions combined. And once we have that in motion, then we start living the dream. But you have to create the dream in order to live it. So both sides of that coin are correct. So we're both living the dream and we're also dreaming the life. But it starts with those of us who are aware of it. It starts with dreaming the life. Because we are creators. Because the creative source, the presence of God, is right inside each and every one of yourselves. So being aware of that magnificence, being aware of that power, being aware of that peace profound, it's all inside our temple, the temple of the soul. It's in our bodies. And when we're aware of that and have the discipline to be aware of that while we're engaged, just like in the very beginning it said, where are we here? Being solitary is being alone while luxuriously immersed in the doings of your choice. aware of the fullness of your own presence rather than aware of the absence of others. Solitude thus becomes an achievement. And therefore we are the knowing effect, meaning we create our reality. And with the Toltec, I love this way of looking at it. There's the dream of the world and the dream of the planet. And the dream of the world, that's more of the ego, that's more of the physical things that we want for our physical existence. That's the dream of the world, and we create that with our thoughts and our actions combined. But the dream of the planet is the collective consciousness of all of mankind that surrounds the earth and infiltrates through it and infiltrates everywhere through it. And the dream of the planet is all about where we fit in the dream of the universe. So it's a collective consciousness that's where we really are. And that's where the Great Awakening is, because we're becoming aware of our own divinity in this Great Awakening that we're going through. We're becoming aware of our own divinity. And therefore we see it in each other. It goes back to Namaste. We see that divinity inside of each and every other human on the planet. And we realize collectively we can create heaven on earth. That is the dream of the planet. And we get our egos out of the way, we're going to be able to really pay attention to that divine spark that we all have inside that guides us, inspires us, teaches us, enlightens us. Yep, absolutely. You see, we are borrowed for a moment in time from the great spirit of the galactic dream by the dream of the planet, and dressed in her clothes as an emissary of the intent to heal a deep and wide rift between the dream of the planet and the dream of the world. Some get lost in that travail, while others like such a challenge. Once returned to the great spirit of the galactic dream, even after uncountable millennia, it'll only seem that you had left for a moment. It'll only seem as we left for a moment. So as we tune into that spark of the divine that's inside us, and we practice that, and we get good at it, we can be extremely busy doing things. Even making this video, I step in and out of being in my mind and being in my awareness of all that I am. And when I'm in my mind, I'm focused on all the things that I have to do with the computer to make it work and go from one scene to the next. But when I'm in tune, it flows and the message just comes out. I have a basic floor plan, I guess you could call it, of all the things that I want to present in my videos. But I do it all ad lib. And I could not do that if I did not have the ability to tune into the awareness of all that I am. Because all that I am is aware of the dream of the planet. And that's the time that we're in right now. We're making that huge transitionary shift from the dream of the world to the dream of the planet. And the collective consciousness of mankind is lifting. Compassion is lifting, and we realize that we have a place in the universe. And all of that is going to come to light for everyone. And we're all waking up to that. And it's an amazing, amazing time right now. And it's so important to realize what being in the moment really is. Being in the now. It's all about being present with the aspects of all you are. Who were you before you came to this world and this life? Who are you going to be when you exit that body that you're in? See, you are not that body. You are not that carcass of meat's body that you're running around in. No, it's not you. That's just a temporary housing of who you really are. You are the warrior spirit, the higher self, and that connection to divinity, connection to source, connection to God, right inside. And that's who you are all the time. But can you shut the chatter off and become in tune with all of that? See, creating a peace-filled world. The solution is so simple, but simple is never easy. Just be your best you and encourage everyone else to do the same. If everyone, and I do mean everyone, did just that, all the problems of the world would disappear. That's the hard part, getting everyone on board. And yet, just focusing on being the best that you can be is 100% doing your part. You don't have to do any more than just build the best you that you can. Once you do, I'm sure what will happen is the more you're in tune with that warrior spirit, that spark of the divine that's inside, and that presence of God that's with you right in your cells, when you're in tune with that, you will be guided to and inspired to do different activities and action steps that will make a difference to help elevate the consciousness of all humanity. And that may be pulling the weeds in the Garden of Eden, so to speak, the Garden of Gaia. Pulling the weeds in the garden means getting rid of the corrupt individual, getting rid of the evil on the planet. Once we've done that, then we can harvest this planet and make it a Garden of Eden. And that's what it's supposed to be, heaven on earth. It's up to us to create it. And we can do that if we all step into that present, that awareness of our presence with the creative source that's behind us, that's in us, around us, and through us. We are part of it. And each and every one of us is part of it. When I look at you and see that, then I'm in my power twice, because not only am I in my power for myself, I'm also seeing that spark of divine in you, and that amplifies the potential for you to tap into that same source, that same source. So these are fantastic times. We're now at the point where we're going to build a new man from the inside out, no longer running from who we are on the inside. No longer running from who we are on the inside. Now that is a powerful statement. A powerful statement, and that's what it means to be present with yourself. That's what it means to be in the moment. That's what it means to be in the now. Because you really can't be in the split second, but you can be aware of all that you are. So I encourage you to do some practicing. Practice looking at your life as being a part of God, and God being a part of you. And your whole body is the temple of God. The higher self, the soul personality, the warrior spirit, the master within. All of those names attributed to different aspects of that divinity that's inside each and every one of you, inside each and every one of yourselves. So, I hope this gives you a whole different perspective on being in the now, being in the moment, being in tune with all that you are, with all that you are. And with that, I thank everybody who has watched this video to the close. Thank the ones who have bought me coffees. I have a buy me a coffee link in the description below. I will slip in some other emails that are, I guess you could call, connected to this message. I will put the links to those in the description below, so you'll find all of that. So always look in the description of my videos, because you'll find other videos that are related to the one that you're watching right currently. So thanks again for the coffees, and I leave you now in the moment with the presence of all that you are, and I leave you peace profound, and I wish you nothing but peace profound to you.